Hello my friends, and welcome to an autumnal reading challenge announcement. Now, autumn is my absolute favorite time to read. I just love autumn in general, all the cozy vibes, the crisp air and the blankets and the hot drinks. Autumn is like my season to shine. That is where I feel like I'm living my best life, as they say. And I wanted to create a very simple, fun reading challenge for this season. Because I had so much fun with Tiffany's summer book bingo, I wanted to create an autumnal book bingo, but I'm keeping things small. I'm making a small board because I don't want to be too distracted by the prompts that I can't just read books that I want to read. It's like I partially want to challenge myself a bit and I partially don't. I have some thoughts on TBRs that I'm going to be sharing really soon, but I wanted to start by sharing my autumnal reading challenge via a bingo board, and I hope you guys join in, have a lot of fun with this. Like I like to do, there's going to be a giveaway involved, and every time you get a bingo, which will be super easy because it's a 3x3 grid, so there's 9 squares. So anytime you get 3 in a row, diagonally, horizontally, vertically, whatever it may be, you get entered to win. How does a $25 Amazon gift card sound? Hopefully you can at least buy a book. If you live in Canada, you can't always buy one book with that, but hopefully you can find a good book that fits that price point. I want to encourage your reading and book purchasing with my reading challenges. In order to actually enter the giveaway, you need to take a screenshot of the bingo board with your books put in and then tag me over on Instagram. If you do not have Instagram, you can email me. I will have my email address in the description. I don't know if it usually is or not, but I'll make sure it is. And you can email it to me instead. I would prefer Instagram. It would just be easier to keep it straight. But if not, go ahead and email me. A couple rules. You can only use the book that you're reading one time, and it does need to be an actual book. Other than the one prompt where there's like a short story option. But other than that, it needs to be a legitimate book, not just short stories. This will be running from September 1st until November 30th. So you've got a full 3 months to hit 9 squares. Okay, so I've kept the prompts very autumnal. Thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon for giving me some ideas. I asked them for some words that really scream autumn to them that would work well for this. And so I've used a bunch of them and I've made them, you'll see, very simple because some of them are like this or this. So keeping it as easy as possible. So let's get into the prompts. There are 9 of them. There is no free space because that would be like way too easy. So the first one I have is a short story or a book under 200 pages. So that one will be really easy. Either you read a short book, which works well if you're doing like shorty September, or you read a short story. It doesn't have to be a short story collection. It just has to be one short story. I'm put this one on here because I do want to participate in Shorty September, and I also want to make progress in my mini short story collections. So I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I'm going to do one of them. The next prompt, when I think autumn, I think being in my kitchen. So my next one is baking. So this could be there could be a picture of baking on the cover. It could be a book about baking. There could be a baking, either the word bake or baking in the title, or something to do with baking, like pie, or, it can be pretty loose, but there should be some kind of baking theme somewhere throughout the book. Then we're gonna do orange on the cover. I would say not just like the tiniest sliver of orange. Hopefully it's at least like a little, maybe like one of the major colors of the cover, but I'm not going to police it very much. So orange on the cover. And then we're gonna do warm beverage. Okay, I tried to keep this so I could appease all the warm beverage people, because definitely there's more coffee people in the world, and there's the people that love their pumpkin spice lattes. There's a lot of tea drinkers. I'm the minority as a hot cocoa lover, but anything that has some kind of warm beverage either throughout the book or on the cover, maybe it has the word like cider in the title, try to figure that out. I'm hoping to share some recommendations for each of these prompts. I'm thinking maybe on Instagram, or maybe I'll do some shorts, or maybe a Substack post. I obviously don't have that quite figured out yet, but if you need some ideas, or you have some ideas, leave them in the comments below, because I love it when there's like a reading challenge and the comments are a place of great book recommendations and a wealth of knowledge. Okay, next we're gonna go trees or leaves. So title, cover, yeah, I think that should be pretty easy to find. Something with trees or leaves. I was tempted to leave it very like vague and just nature, but trees and leaves to me is a little bit more autumnal. Okay, next, this is kind of open to your personal interpretation or level, but I've got creepy. Now, if you don't like creepy books, it doesn't have to be one that I would necessarily think would be creepy. I think I kind of fall in the middle of the scale. Some people read books that are way too creepy for me, and then sometimes I read a book and recommend it to a friend and they're like, that's the creepiest thing I ever read, and to me it wasn't a creepy book. So use your own personal scale when picking something creepy. Maybe the content isn't creepy. Maybe there's something creepy on the cover. I know Holly hates spiders, you guys. So maybe for her there's a spider on the cover, although then she wouldn't be able to read the book. But if there's something that you find creepy on the cover, that works for me. And then we're gonna flip and we're gonna do cozy. So what screams cozy to you? Maybe there's some blankets on the cover. Maybe it's just like a cozy read. I know like there's a bunch of cozy fantasy, or just whatever you think is cozy. Maybe it's your like default genre. Honestly, for me, I find mystery and suspense pretty cozy because that's what I read a lot of as a teen. And so to me, that's like getting back to my roots and just a cozy space to be in. So some of them could be creepy, but they also could be cozy. The second last one is fire or rain. I couldn't decide if I wanted to put fire on as a prompt or rain on as a prompt. I was like, let's merge them. So maybe there's fire or rain on the cover, or in the title, maybe a main character is a firefighter or a rain fighter. No, that's not a thing. I don't know what the opposite of a firefighter would be, to go with the word rain, a lifeguard. But they don't, that's water. I don't mean just water, I mean rain. But there is, I think that's very common in covers, fire or rain. I'm pretty sure you can find something pretty easily. And then the last one, also vague, open to your own interpretation, but the last word is atmospheric. So what is autumnal? What is atmospheric for you in autumn? For me, definitely cozy and creepy would work for that. Gothic, just either the look of the book, again, like the cover or something, or maybe it's the content of the book. I'm leaving this open for your interpretation. So that is my challenge. Those are my 9 prompts, no free space. My Instagram will be linked below so you can tag me when you complete a bingo or when you black out the board. Like I already said, the challenge is going to be starting September 1st. We're going through September, October, November to the last day of November. There's 9 prompts. It shouldn't be that hard to at least get one bingo. Tag me on Instagram or send me an email to get your entries counted for the giveaway. But if you are emailing me, I need to know which books you use to fulfill the prompts, just to verify a little bit that you're not completely cheating. But like I said, I'm not really policing it. I hope it's just a way for you guys to have fun with your autumnal reading. I think it will be good for me to enjoy my autumnal reading. Every year, like January, I'm like, I can't wait until September, October's reading. November for me isn't really always autumn because often the snow starts coming, so it feels a little bit more wintry. I will probably focus more on this in September and October personally, but I look forward to these 2 reading months all year long. I hope you guys have as much fun with it as I hope to.